Madam Web. I saw it, and I don't know what people are talking about, man. This is like the greatest movie I've ever seen, and I honestly don't understand why people hate this movie so much. It's it's perfection. I'm joking in case you couldn't tell. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about, you guessed it, Madam Web. This is definitely a movie, and I don't know how to feel about a movie. So yeah, Madam Web, the next Sony Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man, is out now, and it is flopping hard, and Sony didn't even want to acknowledge it because they didn't even release more than one trailer when promoting the film, because apparently Sony just trusts that movie that much. They trust it so much they don't need a second trailer. Definitely not the other way around. So yeah, let's finally talk about it, because I know everybody seems to hate this movie. Everybody on the internet is saying this movie is bad, that it's trash, that it's horrible. Some people say it's worse than Morbius, but what do I think? Did I think this? Well, one word came to mind when I saw this movie. When the credits rolled on this movie, my mind went to two letters. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much. I personally, like, some people are like super harsh on the film, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna say that. But I would be lying to you if I said it was like great. So let's just dive into it. Let's be positive, okay? Let's start being positive. Like I said, I walked out of the theater thinking it was okay. I enjoyed my time in the theater. Some people say that while watching this they're bored, or they just hated their time. I enjoyed my time watching a theater. I am glad I saw it. I enjoyed my time. The cast in this film is great, even if they aren't given a good writing to have. Although some of them you could tell didn't really want to be there, but that's okay. It was still a pretty good cast, which is why it's such a shame that this movie turned out the way it did, because I honestly think if put in better hands that this cast could have done a great job as these characters. And something that I feel like not a lot of people will say is that a lot of the jokes here actually did hit for me. And I do mean some of the jokes that you were actually meant to laugh at, not just the stuff that was funny that wasn't supposed to be funny. And the theater I saw it in, because I didn't see it opening night, because technically opening night was Wednesday this time around, which is kind of weird. But I did not rush out to see this. But the theater, while being very, very empty, dude, the theater in there definitely was playing into the fact that they knew that people said it was bad, because they were laughing at parts that you weren't supposed to laugh at. And when the credits rolled, there was a group of kids there, or like more like teenagers, that clapped. It was hilarious. It was fun. But now let's get into why do people think this movie is so bad. Well, a couple things I noticed. First things first, the dialogue is okay at best, and other times it's just not very good. It's okay. I don't know what to say. The ADR in this movie is just very bad and noticeable. That part of the movie is just, the ADR in this movie is so bad. Mostly with the villain too, which is weird. Like, I'm guessing they changed it a lot with what was going to happen with the villain, because the villain is really, whose name I'm blanking on, by the way. Oh, Ezekiel Sims. It's him mostly that had the bad ADR. I didn't notice any ADR with any of the other characters but him, which is weird and strange. It was just so bad and obvious. Speaking of the villain was awful. This villain is just here to be a villain. I don't understand why he is the way. I don't understand why he wanted to find a spider, which you'll understand when you see the movie. I don't understand that. Don't understand why he's evil. And there's just I don't know. And they didn't make me care. I didn't care about this villain. He wasn't scary. He wasn't menacing. I didn't feel threatened by him, which is weird, because I think that because the concept of the story and even his suit, I think, could have worked to be kind of like the scary villain. And no, nothing scary about this villain at all. It just didn't work. Speaking of, I didn't care. They didn't do a very good job at making me care about the Spider-Woman either. They're like very basic sitcom style character traits. We have the rebel, we have the shy one, and we have the smart one. that's pretty much all you get to know about them. The other thing you get to know about them is that kind of have either bad parents or parents are no longer around. So that's pretty much all you get when it comes to their information. And it's just like, there's so much more you could have told about these characters and actually make me care. The fact that the way the movie, the way the style of the movie, I should have been at the edge of my seat, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to these characters? Oh my gosh, is he going to kill them? Oh my gosh, did they actually just die? Or was that another vision? And I wasn't. I didn't care. Not only did I not care, but I also, well, I knew the outcome. I knew what was going to happen. So I wasn't at the edge of my seat. Speaking of the characters, Adam Scott's Uncle Ben and Emma Roberts' Mary Parker, yeah, they're in the movie. They weren't, they were kind of just there. Also, the pacing in this movie was felt very off. I can't even explain it. Like, there are some parts of the movie that felt like it was dragging forever, but then there were other things that probably should have taken more time, and it felt like it was rushed through. So the pacing in this movie was very off. And there was also a lot of just weird exposition dumps that didn't need to be there, or that could have been cleaned up, and it's just like, or just come across in dumb ways when it should have been better. Like, they come up with like the dumbest ways to drop exposition on us. It's just like, really, okay. And alright, here's the thing that angered me the most. Here's the only thing that made me like, ooh, why, Sony? Just why? And that is the Spider-Man references. Because there's so many references to Spider-Man, but they outright refuse to outright say, there's so many references, but they refuse to outright name, like, Spider-Man, for example. I don't want to dive into, I'm probably going to end up diving into spoilers later. So, slight spoiler, but not really. I doubt you care. But, there's a scene where it's like, well, he was like some sort of spider person. Because they can't say Spider-Man. They can't. No, that's not happening. Uncle Ben mentions how he finally found someone, and Madam Webb is like, "Oh, what's her name?" And instead of telling her like this conversation felt like it was going, they decided to go with this extremely awkward, just have him be silent. Like he just stares, and she's like, "Oh, serious?" Like that just feels so awkward. And it's like so obvious that you just didn't want to say May. Like, come on, really? You just didn't want to say May. Wow. And if it was so awkward, it's because like in that conversation, he would either tell her, or he wouldn't bring it up in the first place if he didn't want to say a name. Like, what was that about? Like, it was so obvious that they just didn't want to say May, because Aunt May. Mary's kid, they have a baby shower. They do this so weird thing about, oh, guess the name of the baby, and they keep giving up these fake names, even though all of us in the back of our minds are going Peter Parker, Benjamin Parker, Pete. We know the answer. And then when someone finally starts about to go, they cut it off and they go into whatever that scene is, which I won't get into right here. And it's just like it's so annoying, and it makes me roll my eyes because it's like so odd. It almost feels like they think they're doing something clever. They think they're doing a clever tease to make the audience go, oh, I know what that's hitting at. Ooh, oh, that's exciting. But it wasn't. It was just annoying. Where it's like everybody know. Okay, I guess I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people know Mary Parker gives birth to Peter Parker. We all know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. That I know that everybody should know. If you don't, well, how do you not know that? Whatever. And most people know that Ben Parker marries May. Like, it's just, there's so many, and that's not all. There's a bunch of other references I'll go into later, because I think we're gonna do a spoiler section at the end, and those are just like the lines of dialogue, the very obvious ones. That was the main thing that made me roll my eyes. I was like, really? Either outright say it or don't bring it up at all. Knock it off. Come on, Sony. What's wrong with you? And here's another problem I have. This movie, despite the fact that there are a lot of people who are like, well, Madam Web, that's a stupid idea to begin with. Who in the right mind would make a Madam Web movie? here's the thing, my personal opinion. This movie could have been amazing. This could have been one of the best Sony Spider-Man movies. This could have been better than every movie they released. Then again, so could have Morbius. So here's the thing. This movie has so much potential. The actual concept of there's this guy out there who sees the future. He knows that his death involves these spider women. So before that happens, he wants to kill them before they become that. That way he can survive. People compare it to Terminator. Some people have compared it to Final Destination. That as a superhero Spider-Man movie, that's a cool concept. Not to mention the power set that they gave Madam Web with her being able to see visions of the future. And there's a cool concept in there. And this movie could have just been amazing or spectacular, puns intended. They didn't. The movie we coulda and shoulda gotten, we didn't get. A movie that had so much potential that should have and could have been something amazing or spectacular. It just felt like they didn't care. It felt like they were like, yeah, let's just make this movie. Maybe we'll make some money. That will fail. That part won't work. And we'll be able to keep the rights. That part might work. And especially because it is like I personally think that there's a lot of people who are like, a movie about Morbius, that's the dumbest idea ever. A movie about Madam Web, that's the dumbest thing ever. And even though I originally, when I first heard that they were making a Madam Web movie, I was like, that's an interesting person to make a movie about, a solo film. But when I heard the concept, I was like, oh, if this wasn't Sony, that could be good. Sorry, Sony. And yeah, Morbius and Madam Web, I personally feel could have been great films with a phenomenal story and great characters. But they just didn't. They fumbled. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I'm going to quickly go into... So, should you see this movie in theaters? Here's the thing. I don't think you need to see this one in the theater, unless you really, really, really want to. If you saw the trailer, and you were like, that looks awesome. If you've heard all the reviews, and you say, I don't care, I want to see this movie, then sure, if you got the money, go ahead, see it in theaters, do what you want. It's up to you, really, at the end of the day. But what would I say? I would say if you are a huge Spider-Man fan like myself, and you like me, feel like you have to see every movie that's related to Spider-Man because Spider-Man is the greatest character ever, wait for streaming. You can wait for streaming. If you agree with everybody, however, if you're a casual fan, you probably could skip this one, especially because it seems like they're probably just going to ignore it anyway in the long run. So, really it's up to you. You might have fun with it, or you might be bored by it. I've seen both, so that's not really all I can say. So yeah, I am going to quickly dive into some spoilers, so spoiler alert, because I don't want to do a full spoiler review, to be completely honest. So here's some spoilers. There's not too many to go through, but this is what I'm going to mention. I'll give 4 more seconds to click away. Now let's dive into some spoilers. So, one thing I have to say that I did not like was how okay the Spider people seem to be with murder. Because they at the beginning of the film, they point out that the 3 Spider Women killed Ezekiel Simmons, and to me it's just like, why would they do that? And we don't get any explanation. I thought, oh, maybe we'll find out, oh, they weren't actually trying to kill him. It just they were fighting him, and he accidentally died, because that's happened a lot with Spider-Man for some reason. It was covered in No Way Home. But no, so they kind of just show that, yeah, these Spider-Women are totally going to kill this guy, which is very against what Spider-Man does. Yes, there are exceptions for certain Spider people do, but still, these ones had no reason to, and even Madam Web technically got Ezekiel killed in the end of the movie anyway, so, Also, the fact that the suits, the fact that I feel like they kind of false marketed with the suits being in the trailer, posters with them in the suits. Literally, the 3 Spider-Women, you see 2 1-minute scenes with them in their suits, and Madam Web, you get 1 1-minute scene with her in her suit, which is like, really? Also, the line that was just annoying was the line where the what's his name was saying, "When you take on responsibility, great power will come." Why, Sony? Just why? 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 Just say, with great power, there must also come great responsibility. But no, Sony can't say the line for some reason, because that's too much. That's too closely related to Spider-Man. We can't say that. Just say it, or don't say it at all. Come on, Sony. Come on. So yeah, also the ending was cool about, what's weird is that the ending, while part of me felt like it was kind of cool, because it's like, oh, now we got comic accurate Madam Web is teasing what could be kind of a cool future with these 3 Spider-Women taking on some crime. But it also was kind of weird because, one, Madam Web is acting completely different from how she did the rest of the movie, which is like, and no character development to add to it, because, you know, sometimes something will happen, character development happens, and characters change how they act. There was no character development leading to her acting like this. There was no payoff or anything like that, set up payoff or anything like that. She just all of a sudden is now, oh well, now I'm blind and now that she's blind and can't walk, now she's got to change her entire personality. What? That's just weird. Also, the one thing that I think it's super messed up too, that so the references to Ben's death, Uncle Ben's death, is just awful. Especially the one now that Madam Web has control over her powers. Like the fact that Uncle Ben's like, oh yeah, I'm so excited to be an uncle. I get to have all the benefits and none of the responsibilities. And the fact that Madam Web, who, mind you, is a very close friend of Ben in this movie, close friend and coworker, is like, that's what he thinks. So so she knows that Mary Parker and Richard Parker are gonna die, and she doesn't care. She knows that these close people to her best friend are going to die, and she doesn't care. And technically, that does mean that she probably knows that Uncle Ben is gonna die too. Does she care? No. It's just weird. Now, technically, they could shoot. This also brings up something that could be cool, like a Flashpoint like story, where it's like, what do we do? Because we can't. If Peter's parents die and if Uncle Ben dies, we get Spider-Man. But if they don't die, Peter gets to be happy. At least so we think. But no Spider-Man. But there was no setup for that, so obviously we can't do that. It's just weird. It's just weird. So another one of those references that's like, really, you didn't have to make this reference, but you did. So. Anyway, I feel like I'm talking way too long about Madam Web. It's a movie. I don't hate it. I feel like I had more negatives than positives, but I don't hate it. I would be lying to you if I said I hated my time watching this film, and I'd be lying to you if I said I will never watch this movie again, because, to be honest with you, I probably would. Shoot, I might end up buying it on Blu-ray eventually at one point in time anyway, but then again, I haven't bought Morbius yet, so, you know. Wait and see. Which one's worse, Morbius or Madam Web? I'd have to give both movies a rewatch first, because I don't know which one's better or worse. So, yeah. But thank you guys so much for coming to watch. If you like this video, please like. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. What did you guys think of Madam Web? I'm so curious. I'm pretty sure most of you are going to say you hated it, or at the very least, you thought it was dumb fun. Like so bad it's good, because some people thought that. So I would love to know what you guys thought about this movie. Let me know. Also, which one's better, Madam Web or Morbius? I know most people are saying which one's worse, but I'm going to say which one's better. Because, why not? Everyone else is saying which one's worse, so I'm going to say which one's better. Yeah, thanks again for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. Bye.